Hello, my sweeties, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know me, my name is Celise, and thank you for joining my spooky little family. In today's video, we will be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. We are here. Let's get into the video. So...
Hey, Spooky.
Hey.
It's good to be back. It's been a little break.
A little break.
We did do that little cooking video that's coming out soon. I'm excited for that.
We did. We've been cooking it up here.
Yes, chefing it up.
In the spooky home.
But actually, something I want to tell you about. You know how everybody always says, like, the Waffle House this, Waffle House that. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's throwing chairs. You know, you ever see those videos on Twitter and shit?
Yes.
Well, people never talk about the real devious establishment. Chuck E. Cheese.
That's tea.
Now, let me tell you this. It's known to have some of the most violent outbreaks of any kind of restaurant, actually.
For some reason, that doesn't surprise me.
No, and that's the thing. I missed the boat on that. Because, you know, obviously, by the time I was 16, the Black Plague had just started, so...
Wow.
But, apparently, it's crazy in there. It's like a party. People are beating each other up. 2016, after being told to tone down, a 12-person brawl started.
Like of kids?
No, of adults.
With their
in the
kids?
ball pit.
With their kids?
No, they didn't have any. I don't know if they had any.
I
kids,
hope
actually.
they had kids if they're at Chuck E. Cheese.
That's what I'm saying. Another one in 2015, an old lady was driving and she hit a telephone pole and multiple of her wheels went flying through the window of a Chuck E. Cheese. It's crazy in Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese is not a place you want to be at night. Apparently. And you know what? That's not the only place you don't want to be at night with animatronics.
You do not want to be at Freddy's.
I was talking about Waffle House, but okay, Freddy Fazbear's. So you know a lot about this Five Nights at Freddy's thing. You know, you and Rocco were doing a lot of game streams doing Five Nights at Freddy's. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Directed by Emma Tammy, starring Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, Elizabeth Lail, and Matthew Lillard, Five Nights at Freddy's follows a troubled security guard who begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes that the night shift won't be so easy to get through. Pretty soon, he will unveil what actually happened at Freddy's. Scary stuff.
Sounds scary. But before we talk about it, you want to let us know how you feel about the games?
I do. So I started playing Five Nights at Freddy's with Rocco, and I was doing it in anticipation for the film. I had always wanted to play FNAF, but people were like, I had like a very different, like I had like a 50-50 crowd of people that were like, you would love Five Nights at Freddy's, like that seems like your vibe, like you seem like you fit in that fandom. And then I had people being like, you're not gonna like it, it's like kind of kiddie. And so I played this game and I was like, I'm liking it. Like, I'm really liking this game. And I didn't think I would like it because it is very jump scare. It's essentially just jump scares. But I think it's really fun. I had lots of fun with it. It's really hard. I have no idea how there's like a bunch of kids that are just like amazing at this game. Like, they could play it competitively. Like, do they play it competitively?
What do you think
like
competitive FNAF would be?
Oh my God, they're just like all in like a gaming lounge and they're just like...
It's just like a race.
Like, you know? I just love that. And I just love, like, how much the kids love it. I do love it. Not only do I love how much the kids love it, I love how much the queers love it. And that's where I fit in this fandom. Because while playing the games, I was like, I don't know, am I really going to get attached to any of these animatronics? Because I do have a couple friends that are like, one of the animatronics is like their thing, you know? It's like that's me. And I was like, I'm not gonna feel that way. And then by like night 2, I was like, Foxy is me. I am Foxy. We are one.
Yeah, you got really into the lore. I mean, you were telling me all about Ennard and Michael Afton and the crying child. I don't even know what that means. You know, there's a lot of what you. I mean, this is not a lore video. We're not gonna go into the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, isn't there like a 9-hour beginner's lore
There
video?
is. Actually, if you want to know more about the FNAF lore, there's lots of really great videos. I'm going to shout out a friend of mine who did a great video on the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. A shout out to Spooky Astronauts. Emma has a great video on the lore, so definitely check that out. I'll probably like link it in my description box because it is a pretty like short and sweet. It's not 9 hours. And she gives you the whole rundown. And
I gotta watch that video.
it's perfect to watch right before the movie or even after the movie if you still have questions. So now we can talk about the actual film, which the film has done very, very well in box offices.
Worldwide, it made, at this point, over $220 million. Making it one of the top 50 highest grossing horror movies of all time.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I think it's right in front of Saw X, right?
For this year, yes.
For this year, yes. That's pretty wild. But you know what? I'm really not surprised. The FNAF people have really been wanting this movie. I think this movie was supposed to happen a really long time ago.
Yes, I think they started talking about it in 2015, initially with Warner Brothers, and then eventually Blumhouse took it instead.
So while the film did make about $220 million, the critical and audience scores were very different, I would say.
It kind of wavers. You know, some places say like a 50% out of 100. Some places are giving it like a 4 out of 10. You know, there are some 30s.
Did it completely flop on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes. But doesn't everything?
That's very true. I also don't personally care about Rotten Tomatoes scores because there are so many horror movies that I like that don't have good critical reception on there. So it is what it is. So going into this movie, I first thought that this movie was going to be about 3 hours long because that was apparently the rumor that was going around because they wanted to put all the lore, and originally they were going to, like, I think make it all the games in one movie. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that was just a rumor. But the film is actually 1 hour and 50 minutes. I'm glad it is. I think that that's a perfect runtime. However, there were some things about the movie that felt a little bit slow. I really did enjoy the first act. I was like, okay, this is cute. I'm liking this. When I first saw Matthew Lillard, I was very excited. There was something a little bit off with the movie in general for me. I'm not really sure what it is, but I'm gonna say it's an editing issue. There's a pacing issue. There's something that it just leaves you, it's kind of flat feeling.
Yeah, you know, there's so much good about this movie, right? Whether or not you're a FNAF fan, right? The animatronics look great. They're practical. I mean, they're actually guys in suits.
The animatronics are perfect.
Phenomenal. Honestly, they're so good you'd think that they're CG.
They're perfect. They were my favorite part, and I wanted to hug all of them.
Well, they are murderous, but we'll get to that.
I think me and them would vibe. Like, we'd just be slaying. You know? Like, they wouldn't murder me. Like, they'd be like, you're one of us.
You just, like, built different, right?
I am.
Anyway, the performances were great. A lot of subtleties in their performances that somehow come through in these suits. All the performances were great. We have baddie Elizabeth Lail, baddie Matthew Lillard, Twink King Josh Hutcherson. You know, there was a lot of good. Even the little girl was really good.
You you taking all my words?
There.
Like, what is this? Did this become a Cornelius review?
It's my spinoff. This is starting our spinoff. But no, there's a lot of good stuff. But to your point, I was rounding back to it. Excuse me, Miss Spooky.
Spooky baddie, this. I'm teaching him well, am I right?
Anyway, there's a lot of good here. First act is solid. We get a lot of good information. The second act is where it starts to get a little weird, right? I think that they kind of get a little lost in the sauce, right? It's very clear that they wanted to put as much lore in this as possible. I guess just in case they didn't get a second movie. But they clearly were really putting a lot of the lore and trying to fit it in together in like this essentially like rewritten universe. And while there are a lot of nice little Easter eggs and things like that, it just feels muddy. We don't really get any chance to have the animatronics be scary. There really aren't any nights at Freddy's. I think they, actually funny enough, I think they only spend 4 nights at Freddy's. But it just feels like we jump past what makes them scary to get to the quote unquote like story. And then the third act is like really we just fly through the third act. And to your point, I agree. I think actually it felt good as an hour and 50 minutes. But it really feels like it should have been like a 3-hour movie, honestly.
I'd have hated if it was a 3-hour movie. So, unfortunately, it's a lot of just seeing Mike sleeping at Freddy's. And he's sleeping with this poster of Nebraska because we later learn, obviously, that his brother was kidnapped when they were young. So, my issue with that's fine because they wanted to specify the lore of like the children kidnappings and things like that, which is fine. But before doing all of that, maybe we can actually spend nights at Freddy's, right? Maybe we can actually see Mike looking at the security footage. It doesn't have to be like the game. That's not what I'm saying. Because that would be incredibly boring to see somebody just sitting there looking at security footage. But every once in a while he's doing his little things, falling asleep here and there, he could have been checking the security cams. And we could have been seeing some creepy little things happening. Maybe he's like a little nervous of Foxy. We don't really get that. And I just feel like we didn't have any real moments of him being afraid of the animatronics. Or of the animatronics like taunting him and messing with him. We don't see that happening. They kind of just immediately gravitate towards his little sister. It's like a little unfortunate. I was really like pretty much liking the movie for what it was. I was like, all right, this is cute. I can see how this is more like maybe for younger people, but I still was enjoying it. I'm thinking like, all right, great gateway horror, you know, cute. And then like when we do get those small snippets of the animatronics being a little creepy and things like that, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like there's that one specific shot where we see Bonnie and Chica and they're actually in the security footage and they're like looking at each other and then they like quickly look at the camera. And I thought that was like really cute and I was like, that's like funny and like a little creepy. Like look at them trying to like play it off, you know? I love that. But then we start getting really confused, I think. I think they started getting really confused with the tone of this film the minute that they decided that the animatronics were going to be really sweet. And like, it's just, it felt weird. Like I thought it was cute. But then I was like, what are they trying to say? Like, I was kind of hoping, all right, this is really cute. They're like playing with Abby and like everything's really sweet. But I was hoping for them to like switch up. For them to switch up and like one of them be like really creepy and weird and like, yeah. Like all of a sudden they're like, haha, fooled you. We're evil. But they don't really do that. They do give Mike like a dirty look, I guess, because they're like, they don't really like him. But then I think Abby's like, it's fine. That's my brother. And then they're just like, all right.
I don't know. You know what it is? And this is an issue I think happens in this movie a lot. They never give us time to ruminate with anything.
They
right?
don't. That's the issue.
Performances, scares, everything just happens.
That's the issue. And I think that's why ultimately the movie does fall flat. By the time we get to the third act, I think we're kind of a little bit tired. We're like, when's anything going to happen? And then when things really happen, it's like in the last 15 minutes. And it's very unfortunate. We have Matthew Lillard here playing a great role. For those who know the story, know the lore, know the character of William Afton, this is a great character. This is a very important character to the story. So he's playing a great role. Obviously, I'm assuming because the film did so well, I'm assuming we're going to get more of them. Obviously, I think later in those movies, we'll get more of Matthew Lillard because in the first game, you don't really know too much about William Afton anyway. So it's not like I was expecting Matthew Lillard to be on screen for the majority of the time. But when he does get to be on screen in the final act, it is so short that it's like really a little bit disappointing. The reveal of the bunny and the suit, I thought like the way he comes in, like kind of from the shadows, was really cool. But it goes by like this. Like you can blink and it's like over. There's clearly an homage to Scream in this scene, which I thought was really sweet and really respectful for Matthew Lillard. He's a horror icon. It's the least you can do. Give us the little ghost face thing. It's cute.
Yeah, it was great. I love that part. That part was
great.
It was to the moon at that part.
And he looked like he was having a great time. And I'm all about that. I'm all about getting to see a movie where I can tell the actor is having so much fun and is like with it.
Well, he clearly liked the movie. He was very happy about it, and he's proud of it.
Yeah.
It's a little underutilized.
It's a big deal for him, too. He hasn't been in a big movie in theaters in a really long time. And I think he got to play a really cool part. Granted, he doesn't have a lot of screen time. But again, I think more movies will definitely have more screen time with him.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you knew this.
What?
Mike Schmidt. Josh Hutcherson's character.
Yes, I know.
That is the pseudonym that William Afton's son goes by in the games.
Oh.
There are some parallels, so maybe we'll see something involving that. Maybe we'll see that other guy, Henry something. I know the FNAF fans are going to come for my soul right now because I don't know, who the guy in the background of Five Nights at Freddy's 16 was. But, there's a lot of little things that were dropped there. Now that we know we're getting a sequel, most definitely a third movie, hopefully that means that a lot of the things that were kind of lackluster about the first movie will kind of be filled in.
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. While this movie was fun, it wasn't the best I've seen. But I do think that it's still watchable. I think it's fun. I think it's a great gateway horror for younger people. And at the end of the day, if you are a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, I do think you're going to like the movie. At least you're going to like the animatronics. I mean, I don't know. I know there's also the argument of like, oh, this was only made for the fans. I've seen that like a lot online.
I don't know. That's
I don't know if that's really true.
I mean, they changed the story. I mean,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There are things for the fans, but it's also an intricate story that they're working with. It's a lot of meat. They're adapting a lot of games. And it's Five Nights at Freddy's. What do you want it to be, Star Wars? It's Five Nights at Freddy's. You're going to see a Five Nights at Freddy's movie about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going in there with high expectations for it to be this great, grand movie. I was just like, it's going to be a fun, cute movie. And I feel like for me, it was definitely cute. And there was a lot of fun moments. Do I think the movie overall was fun? No, because there was a lot of draggy bits that we really didn't need. It honestly felt like they cut a lot out, but they still left a lot in there that could have been cut out. And that's really unfortunate.
And I will say, before we, get to our final thoughts, I don't think you need to enjoy the movie. But I'm definitely happy that we we like got into, we all collectively, more you and Rocco, but I was there in the background. You guys just can't see me. I'm happy that we all got into the lore. I mean, it was a nice excuse to do research and learn about this whole like fandom. And to be completely honest, like, I think it made the movie better for me. Do I think that I would have enjoyed it had I not known any of that? Yeah, I probably would have enjoyed it exactly the same. But I'm happy that we did try the games and, watch a not 8-hour long lore video. But, we did watch one that was like an hour and a half, though. That was intense. That was a long video.
I will speak a little bit about the fandom. While playing these games, I play them just here on YouTube, on stream. I have like been met with so much like sweetness. The Five Nights at Freddy's fandom is just a bunch of sweet, lovely people that like want to help me beat this game and are like, oh my god, I made a Foxy edit. And just like,
they're so nice.
They are so nice. Some of the
community.
nicest, yeah. I just love it. The nicest, gayest little community.
Yeah.
And I love it. And I think I'm content with being a part of this fandom now.
So you said your favorite was Foxy, right?
My favorite is Foxy. My thing is going to open up again.
Which version of Foxy do you like the best?
Oh my god. Like in the game?
Yeah. Which is your Foxy that you identify with?
Oh my god. So if we're speaking about Foxy, I'm only up to Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but I've got this lovely FNAF encyclopedia. So I'm going to show you all my favorite Foxy. But there are some crazy Foxies in here. Nightmare Foxy is serving. Funtime Foxy is the most me. I don't know. You probably can't see it. The most me right here. Pink lipstick. Pink brows. Pink everything. This is the most me. But I think I first saw myself in Foxy when I played the first game. So I will say that the very first Foxy look is important to me. Do you have an animatronic that you see yourself in? Who is it? Share with the class.
Yassified Chica.
Wow,
Dummy
really?
Vic Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I identify with her.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, I like to look like a baddie and carry around a cupcake,
That's cute.
Let's eat, motherfucker, like...
That's very you.
Yeah.
For some reason, Rocco feels Bonnie-coded.
I think that's homophobic. Just because Bonnie kind of looks like a bottom? Come on, like...
No.
Well, I think that Bonnie...
No,
and Bonnie,
Chico gives she, her.
Yeah. I think Freddy is he, they. Bonnie is definitely they, them-ish.
I think they are.
And Foxy's Puerto Rican. But anyway, look, I think we could talk about this fandom for a long time, and that's why I think it took so long to do this goddamn video. But what do you give it?
I am going to be giving Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm going to give Five Nights at Freddy's 3 levs out of 5.
Woo! Really?
I was almost going to give it 2.5.
No, it's not a 2.5.
But I have to be real, guys. The animatronics are so much fun to watch. I'm not going to sit here and be like 2.5 because of this, that, and third. I went there for the animatronics. I went there to be at Freddy's. I felt like I was at Freddy's. And I'm content with that.
Okay. This might be the first time in history that this has happened. But I'm going to give Five Nights at Freddy's 2023 a 3 out of 5 levs. I agree with you. I think if you give it any less than a 3, You need to learn how to have fun. This movie was fun.
Have fun.
With all the shitty movies that came out this year.
Yeah,
this
get
one wasn't
real.
the best. It was fun though. The animatronics look cool. The story was not exactly, I think, what we all wanted from a movie like this.
It wasn't.
And the tone wasn't there. Were there better movies? There was a handful. Were there worse movies this year? Hell yeah, there were.
Absolutely.
I can't in good conscience give this movie any less than a 3. I'm going to say 3 out of 5.
It was cute. It was fun. Let the kids have fun.
Let the kids have something.
That is it. All right, you guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps me a lot. And be sure to click that little notification bell to be up to date every single time I upload. And let me know in the comments, did you enjoy FNAF? Was it not really for you? Also, please let me know, who is your favorite animatronic? I'd love to talk about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.